Hey guys, welcome back to another. Well, today is a little bit of a podcast kind of thing. No, I don't know if we call it podcast, but it's what I'm calling it for now. Um, it's called Talking Points. No, it's not. That was what me and Swan made. We're off to a great start, aren't we? So as you can see, you can probably see you can definitely see my computer, unless I decide to crop it. Which I probably won't because it's the first one, and what's the point? The only editing I'll probably do is the only editing I'll do is probably cutting bits out and putting a few images on to explain my points sometimes. So we're gonna start. So what I do in this, it's actually called Thoughts of Life. Now that title might change. I might keep it. I don't know yet. But the idea of this podcast is to some of things will be about news stuff, like stuff that I've heard in like other podcasts, like this week on the internet from Will and E. Some things I'll talk about that I've seen on like the Discord and around everywhere. Some things will be my general opinion on something like a TV show or a film or a game or something like that, or just something that's happened to me in real life that I'm felt for that's worth talking about. So it's about anything. It's not about anything specific. It's just me at the minute. I'm so glad that light is white and not red. But I've yeah. So basically, I have got a script. It's on my computer. That's what you could see, and so yeah. So basically, the idea. Sorry. Um. So yeah. So obviously, like I said, I have a script, and the idea of the script is obviously to tell me what to talk about. Because whenever I don't have a script, I cannot think of what I'm trying to say. Apologize if you could hear that. That's my air freshener. Um, so what I do on the script is I write sometime on this one it's just 2 points, but in future I might try and get it to be 3 or 4 points. Sometimes it might be a small token thing. Sometimes it might be a bigger one. Um, I'm gonna try and maybe do about 4 or 5, maybe a few, maybe 10, up to 10, before I decide whether I'm gonna keep doing them or not. I think that's a good idea of like how to knowing how long to keep going for, and yeah. So we'll go from here. So today I've mixed it up with I've just done 2 points to talk about the day. One of them's a thing that I've seen. I already noticed before I saw it on this week internet, and I thought that's a good thing to talk about anyways. But Elon Musk has changed Twitter from the uh from Twitter to the um to X. It's literally called X, the letter X, not X as in EX or anything like that. It's just literally the letter X. I mean, most of you guys who are on Twitter will know. Anyone that isn't on Twitter will probably have seen it somewhere. I'm probably like a second hand know about. So you're probably hearing it from me after you've already heard it from someone else. But um, yeah, it's a bit weird. Apparently he tried it in the early 2000s. I don't know exactly what year, but when he made apparently he tried it with PayPal, and it didn't go well. I'm not entirely sure what happened because this first episode's kind of like a last minute think about before people come in because I was going to record it this morning and I forgot. But for future episodes I'll be recording it when no one's around. Um, so this was like a quick find out a little bit, but not looking at massive details. But in future, I will be looking in more detail of what things I'm talking about. Um, also, um, yeah, apparently it doesn't look like it's going well with this one either because I don't know why he wants to change it to the letter X. Like he's even changed the sign of it instead of the Twitter bird. He's now changed it to the letter X as well. And to me, like Twitter always made more sense because when you tweet something, it's a tweet. Like that's what a bird makes. Twitter, it's a bird. Well, a bird's not a Twitter's not a bird, but it's like you kind of think of a bird when you say Twitter. So to me, it just doesn't look right. I don't know why he's obsessed with the letter X. Like, Why the letter X of all things? I mean, I know X is like with the X factor, and when you do maths, it's like an algebra, and you say find X. Um, and the X, yeah, like I said, the X factor, it's unknown. But Twitter is not unknown. Twitter is if you're gonna if you're gonna um compare it to something, it will be Facebook, Instagram, where just people are talking to each other. Sometimes just want to say about their day, just put out random jokes, stuff like that. It's not unknown. Um, so yeah, that's personal opinion on that matter. So moving on, guys. So turns out that there has also been a bear in China, Eastern China, at a zoo called Hangzhou Zoo. I think that's how you pronounce it. Hangzhou Zoo in Eastern China, and it turns out that there was a bear that stood on two legs with its arms down its side. Um, and people thought that it was a member of staff in a costume, which makes sense considering you don't see many bears. You see bears like jumping up a bit with its arm, like claws in the air, like in front of it, but you never see um, but you don't see bears standing up 2 feet or two paws, assuming they're paws. I don't know what they're called, and two paws in the air, in or down the sides. I mean, like a person. So it makes sense that people thought it was a person, but it turns out that it was actually a sun bear. I'm not entirely sure what a sun bear is, but I know it's obviously a type of bear. And I don't know why that makes any difference to being able to stand up. Maybe some bears are able to do that. I don't know, but it was a sun bear, and apparently it was called Angela. Um, Wonder if it was taught by Bear Grylls to do that. So moving on. So I've just finished watching The Walking Dead. Not all the shows, just the 11 seasons of The Walking Dead, the normal Walking Dead, literally called The Walking Dead. Um, and spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen it, although it has been out a while now, but I have literally just watched it. It took us a few weeks, about 3 weeks to watch it, 2 or 3 weeks to watch it, but I got there, and it was a bit random at points, sad at points, and really happy at points. Like I liked a lot of it. I don't think there was any points that I hated. I mean, there was some parts where I did feel weird. Now I know it's just a TV show and all, but there was like when Negan, I always kept calling him Negan because even though it's an E not an A, but it just sounded right when I said Negan, not Negan, but it is Negan. But I hated his guts when he was killing Glenn um and can't remember his name. But the ginger guy, anyways, the guy that that's Eugene and uh Rosita went around with at the beginning. Well, when we first met them, um, that was sad. That made me angry. I wanted that guy to die because no one was like everyone was just kneeling and sitting, and there was Negan just laughing about it and talking to them about stuff, and obviously, um, there's Maggie who's in tons of pain with whatever's going on with a baby, and goodness me, sorry I got an itchy nose, and yeah, it just made me angry, um, and then obviously sad. Then something I really liked though was at the end of the 11th season when I think it was literally on the last episode. It was either the second to last or the last episode of the 11th season. You got Negan apologizing to Maggie for killing Glenn, and that was one of the most heartfelt but happiest moments of the program for me because it showed you that he changed. He truly changed because even though he lost everything when he lost the saviors, and then when and then he was put in the prison for however many years it was. Even though Rick slashed his throat, obviously they saved him. Um, which for me, if I feel like in real life, if he waited as long as he did in real life after slashing his throat before telling someone to save him, he probably would have died already. Um, but it's just a show, so you got to allow for some inconsistencies. Um, but or not inconsistencies, but you get what I'm trying to say. Um, and it was good to see that he really did change after all the bad thing. Everyone gave him the chance of changing after everything he did. I know it was definitely not easy for them, but it I hated him still after a bit. Um, it took me a while to like think, has he changed? But I think the one point that you even suspected that he might have changed was after killing that woman, killing the alpha of the Whisperers. And then if you were still weren't really sure, and thought he was just doing it for his own sake, you knew that he probably did change after he was saving Maggie a dozen times, and he saved the kid, saved Herschel, young Herschel. Um, that was another sad moment when Herschel seen when Maggie's dad died and when Beth died. It was sad all the time, to be honest. Like a lot of the deaths I was sad. Some I didn't care too much about, like what was his name? The In the last season when the kid died, the son of the woman, um the governor, or the governess, I suppose you would say, but she was called the governor of the um Commonwealth, when her son got killed by the Walker after Eugene pushed it off the woman that I never learned the name of because she was only in it for a season. Um, but the more to me, for me, although another moment that I found sad was when like Tara and I've forgotten her name, but the woman who was running away, who would start off as a teenager in the program when she was when they first went to Alexandria. Um, there's so many names in this program that it's honestly difficult to remember them all, especially considering that half most of them die through the program. But because if you look at it, really, if you ignore Rick, because as far as everyone's concerned, he's dead, but except from the viewers, obviously we know he's alive. But although the idea didn't really make sense, I think it's going to continue on with another program because I know they're making another one coming out in 2024. But I don't know. I can't remember what the one those who live or something like that. Um, and I think it's probably going to explain what happens after what we saw at the end of season 11 with him then. But when those all like Henry and Tara and all of them people die, or like when their heads are on the sticks, although that was really sad for me because it killed three of my favorite characters off in one blast. Um, but the saddest by far for me, although it was I think it was because it was the last death and because it was the way that rather than having like as I call them, a mass killing event where just they kill when things happen and then just loads of people are dying. Um, for me, the saddest death for me, was when Rosita died at the end. But then I really liked it even more when what made it better was when you find out that Eugene named his baby after her, calling her Rosie. That got me, like that got me in the heart. I think that's it for this episode, guys, of Thoughts of Life. I definitely need to change the title because it doesn't make sense with what I'm talking about. Um, now that I'm thinking about it, I think I just need to think of a title. If you got any suggestions, please leave it. And because soon you know what it's now, I've explained what it's about. And in case you don't understand, it is basically me looking up things that have happened in the world or thinking of things that have happened to me recently, or and talking about them, or talking about a TV show that I've watched, or a game that I've played, or a film that I've watched. So just talking about things, basically, whatever comes to mind. Um, and if you can, I don't really want to call it Thoughts with Dog Captain because it won't. It might not always be me. It might be with a couple other people as well sometimes. Um, but just have to see what's what. So if you got any suggestions, please leave a comment, and please subscribe for more. And yeah, please leave a like, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. It's been the Dog Captain. I'm out. Bye.